what we're going to talk about tonight, you know, when I started my business at 31 years old, I had no lines of credit, no loans, no investors. All I really had was an idea and some confidence, maybe some naive confidence, right? But I believed that I could take a concept to the market, and I didn't know how much I could make with it. I certainly didn't know I could make millions of dollars with it. But I knew I wanted to start something. I knew I wanted to grow something. I knew at that time I was a basketball coach, and to be quite frank with you, I was bored. I'd won a championship. I'd done everything you could do. I spent the 10 years working the muscle. I had mastered that area of my life, and I felt like I was supposed to do something bigger. Okay? And I didn't quite know what that bigger was. Okay? And I was speaking, and one day I was speaking in West Tennessee to a nursing home owner and all their employees. And on the break, the CEO said, "Man, we got to talk to you. Got to talk to you on the break." I'm like, "Okay, great." They paid me $1,500 to come speak that day for a full day. And I went out in the hallway, and it was a husband and wife, and they said, "We want you to be our coach for the next year. We want you to coach all these nursing homes." Sound like real sexy work here? "We want you to come in and coach all of our workers." And I'm like, "What does that look like?" And they said, "We're going to pay you $150,000 to be our coach. A little over like $12,500 a month." And I thought, shoot, man, I'm a basketball coach. I'm making, $2,500 a month. I'm working 80 hours a week. These people are going to give me $150,000 to be their coach, right? And it was really the first time I understood the concept I'll show you tonight, is there's a big difference between a bluegill and a blue marlin, right? And I didn't know it at the time. All I was doing was working the muscle. I didn't know that opportunity was going to come along. I didn't know somebody's going to ask me to be their coach. But that one client, gave me the courage to go back and retire from coaching. Because now I had new income replacing my current income. Everybody see that? So I go back. I'm bored. I'm tired. I'm overworked. I'm making $50,000 a year. I've won a championship. And I walk in one day and I said, "Man, I'm out. I'm retiring. Today's my last day." And I remember it like it was yesterday. I spoke in the morning at Reeves Sane, which is a pharmacy here. And on my way back, I said, "I'm retiring today. I'm done with this." And I walked in and I said, "I'm retiring." And they said, my players cried, I cried, we all cried. And I walked away from coaching. The only thing I'd ever known. Now, here's where it gets interesting. So now I got income, or at least I think I got income, $12,500 a month. And I hired a dude while I was still coaching and being a high school teacher to go do the coaching for me. And I paid him $5,000, and I kept $7,000. Pretty good deal, right? He was doing the work. I was coaching my team because I just couldn't retire, just quit. I'm paying him $5,000, and I'm keeping $7,000. And he's telling me, "Man, it's incredible." He said, "They love you, Coach Burt. They love me." And I would send him over to West Tennessee for a week, and he would coach these nursing homes, and he would give me these glowing reports. And I'm thinking, man, this is great. He's like, "They're going to sign you to another deal." And so I retired from athletic coaching. And it wasn't 3 weeks after I retired that I get a call from the CEO of the company. She said, "I got to meet with you in Nashville right now." And I go down there, and I'm sitting there, and she sits down, and she's like, "Look, this ain't working. This coaching ain't working." And I'm like, "What do you mean it ain't working?" I'm sending my dude over there to West Tennessee. He's telling me it's going great. She's like, "Man, he ain't coaching anybody. He's basically come over here goofing off all week. He's flirting with all the girls at the nursing home." Right? All the women at the nursing home. I'm like, "What?" And she's like, "We're terminating this contract right now." And I'm like, right? I'm sitting here, I'm scared to death. I'm thinking, I'm going to get sued right out of the gates. We'll start my business. Because he's not delivering what he's supposed to be delivering. And he's lying to me about what he's delivering. And I had no recourse whatsoever. There was nothing I could say other than, "What do you say?" So now I've got a business. I just had a job. I just had insurance. I just had benefits. I was just the top of my game. I was the #1 coach in Tennessee. Now I'm starting a business thinking I've got $150,000 coming in, and how much do I have coming in? Zero. I got no clients. I got no way to get clients. I got no way to make money, and I'm scared to death. And that is how I started this company, which is now a multi-million-dollar company. You understand where I'm going with this? And my granddad always used to teach me, son, you'll get motivated when your backbone touches your belly bone. You know what that means? When you're real broke and real skinny, you'll get real motivated. That's what he used to tell me. And so I'm like, all right, man, I got to go out here and do something. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I had none of the things I have today that I'm going to talk about tonight. I didn't have an explanation of services. I did not have a selling system. I did not have a follow-up. I did not have a way to extract referrals out of my current clients. I certainly didn't have a person of interest strategy to become known in the world. And you're going to understand tonight why that's so critical. I didn't have anything other than just confidence and grit. And I'm going to get out there and I'm going to push and push and push. And a few weeks later, they called to ask Coach Rick Insell, who's the head coach at MTSU, to speak at a bank event. First Bank had a big bank event. And they called Rick Insell to speak because he's a college basketball coach. And Rick said, I'm not available, but you really don't want me anyway. You want this young kid named Micheal Burt. He's much better than me. And so they booked me to speak to their company, 500 employees. And I go in on a Saturday morning, and I had enthusiasm. How important is it to have enthusiasm every day? And I had energy every day. And I had positivity every day. And I had confidence every day. And I showed up and I gave this presentation. And I walked out, and the COO of the bank called me and said, come here, I want to talk to you. He said, man, I don't know what it is you got, but we want some of it. And you come and see me. If you ever want a job in the banking business, you got one. And I thought he was being nice. I didn't even know, in those days, I was so naive that was a big clue, right? He was wanting to hire me. So I just went along about my business. I didn't even follow up with the dude. It was a huge mistake, right? 3 months later, I get a phone call. He's like, look, man, I want to do something with you. And so we met for a little while, and he said, I want you to coach all 500 of our people. 43 locations, 38 branches, or 38 cities, 43 locations, and I want you to help drive the largest increase in our business that we've ever had here. And I'm like, okay, what's this look like? He said, here's 500 people. Now you're in charge of them. Good luck. Here's the goal. Here's the people. Figure it out. I'm going to give you 2 little assistants. Figure it out. I said, well, how much are you going to pay me for this? And he said, we're going to pay you $75,000 and a bonus. If you hit your goal, we'll give you another $75,000. So you got a chance to make $150,000 doing this. So thank goodness that person came along, and that really saved my business at that time. Does everybody see that? That one client saved my business. Now, let me tell you why it's important. How many of you believe every day with your current customer is an interview for your next customer? Okay? I went in there like gangbusters, and I drove a 43% increase for that bank. Okay? And they made millions of dollars off hiring me as their coach. They would go on to hire me 8 more years to be their coach. Okay? I made the $150,000, right? But more importantly, that word began to percolate out in the market. This little dude can get results. So then I began to get phone calls from other people, home builders and real estate companies and mortgage companies and other big home builders. And the next thing you know, old Coach Burt signing these 6-figure contracts, coaching these folks, right? So what's the lesson? Is if I wouldn't have gotten that one client, if I wouldn't have done a good job with that one client, if I wouldn't have serviced them well, I would have never had that opportunity. We probably wouldn't be sitting here today because I wouldn't have had a business. I would have been back coaching high school basketball, right? Now, I hear timing's got to be right. This is a big thing I hear all the time. Timing's not right. Timing's not right. Listen, folks, I would tell you we create our own timing. Timing is never right to do anything, right or wrong. Never. And I tell people when they use that excuse on me, if the timing had to be right, I'd still be a high school basketball coach. Because my team went on to win 7 more championships after I left, by the way. I would have just kept winning championships. Everybody see that? The time is never right to take an action. But when in doubt, take an action. So I created tonight, really for one reason. I want to give you all the tools and strategies that I use to grow a business. And the number one thing that I do today is grow businesses. Small businesses, big businesses. Tomorrow I've got a meeting, and that meeting may be worth $500,000. Okay? To do one thing, grow that business. Okay? Remember this, if you don't learn anything tonight, remember this, money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem is, the more money people will pay to solve that. If I help Dre make $1 million, he wouldn't mind giving me a good piece of it. Right or wrong? If I help a business make $10 million, they don't mind giving me $1 million of it. Okay? Some of you are still solving very small problems. And because of that, you're being compensated in very small ways. Some of you, your skill set is not strong enough yet to solve a significant problem in the world. So I call them, you're still doing little bluegill things. Does that make sense? You're not really chasing blue marlins, you're chasing bluegills. So your skill is not strong enough to command more money in the marketplace. Money doesn't buy you freedom. Skills buys you freedom. Because the better your skill is, the more money you're going to make. Everybody see that?